Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Melly, from Melly's Yarn and Book Adventures. Sorry I've been gone for a little while. Seems like I say that every time I start a video. Anyway, welcome back. My name is Melly, which I just said. And this is the channel where I speak about everything that is knitting, crochet, books, spinning, fiber related. There's a few reasons why I have been gone for a while. One, life. Two, my son was, well, last week, I was going to do a video last week, and then my son got put into the last Friday. He got, well, not last Friday, the Friday previous, the class was put on quarantine, so he had to stay home for this past week up until yesterday. So I didn't really get a chance to make a video then. And then I bought a new phone, or I got a new phone, so I haven't really, I've been playing around with it, so I hope the video quality is a little bit better. Hold on, I'm trying to adjust. Okay, much better, I think. Anyway, so I've been playing around, so the video quality might be a little bit better, which I guess would fall into life. And then work has been kind of busy, not because work, but because it's, even though you would say January was the after season, it's kind of like January is the after season. So January is busy because everybody's returning, exchanging, using gift cards and things like that. And then February is yesterday was Valentine's Day, so everybody's kind of like shopping for that. So the beginning of the year, for me in my job, I work at a Macy's retail, is a little bit crazy hectic because one, again, after holidays, and two, all the seasonal people were either leaving, like there's like a whole bunch of adjustments and scheduling and stuff going on, and it's just crazy. So I've been either working more than I normally would, or working days I normally wouldn't work. Just crazy. Having to like just get a schedule down for myself. So anyway, plus I didn't really have anything to talk about. I really did. Like, I'm not going to make a video just to make a video for the sake of making a video. That's just not me. But I have a lot of good stuff to share with you today. First, what am I wearing? I'm wearing, let's see if I can stand up. You can see. This is the Bright Side sweater by Espastrico, I believe. I knitted it in the 3rd size. I actually started knitting it for myself. My daughter decided she liked it. And it was going to be a little bit baggier on her than it is on me. And it's pretty fairly loose, you can see. But she liked it. So I said, okay, well, we can share it. So I made it. She's about my height right now. She's 13. I checked arm length on her to make sure it wouldn't be too long, but not too short on me. So I kind of had to adjust the pattern that way. But it's a comfy, cozy sweater. It's made in Hobie Diablo is the mohair. And the pink and the light, it's kind of like a blush. It doesn't look that way, but it's like a blush color. That and a darker rose pink is King Cole Big Value, I believe, that I got from Wool Warehouse. I believe it's King Cole. It's not Stylecraft. It's the other one that they always have on sale. I think it's the Big Value. King Cole? I think it's King Cole. Anyway, it's super warm. I needed to wash it to soften a little bit because the Diablo is a little bit itchy, which is weird because I have the Diablo in my green, green and cream cardigan, or green and silver cardigan, and it's not itchy in the cardigan. So I don't know if it's just the combination of the two yarns, or what it is. But I like it. It's not like super itchy. It's just prickly. I want to say it's prickly. It's prickly. I wore it to work on Sunday over a t-shirt, and I had a couple customers say, "Oh, where'd you get your sweater?" And I said, "Oh, I made it." You know, I know it's not perfect. I had a couple co-workers, "Oh, that's a nice sweater. It looks nice and snuggly." And I said, "I made it." And co-workers were like, "Wow, like that's amazing." Anyway, so that's what I'm wearing. Oh, I forgot to tell you where you can find me. If you hear like noise in the background, that's my cat. I don't know what she's doing. She's playing with something on the floor. Probably a piece of plastic or something. Anyway, so I forgot to tell you where you can find me. That's how long it's been. You can find me on Instagram as Goya Snow, GOYASNOW. That's where I'm active the most. Facebook, that's more for family and friends, or family. So I don't really, and I'm not very active. Like, I look on it, but I don't post very much on it. So Instagram is where you can find me posting pictures of my work the most. Okay, so what have I been working on? What are my works in progress? This is my finished object. So we've done that first. Finished object. Also, I have another finished object which I'm wearing, and I don't want to show you because they look kind of socks. It's a pair of socks. They look a little well worn right now. So we're not going to show you those. But first object I'm working on. Actually, let me go into my, let's do, okay. So first finished object. First thing I'm working on is the classic World War II watch cap. And it's basically a pattern derived from beanie number 212, Busilla Yarn Booklet, volume 318, dated 1940. And the person that kind of like translated it, or not translated it, but kind of like put it in easier terms to understand because it's a vintage pattern. Her name is Helen Waits, I think it is. But I looked at the original beanie number 212 pattern, and it's basically the same. It's basically, she just changed the wording around so it's a little bit easier to understand. She didn't change anything but the way it's worded. I could have worked from the original pattern also, no problem, but this was what popped up first, so this is what I printed. There's two ways you can do it, and I will show you both ways because that's both my work in progress, is both ways. So I'm working, the first one I'll show you is the flat version. I have some vintage red heart. Oh my God, where's the other needle? I see it. I'll get it after. Chadwick Red Heart number 5s. And I had to actually just change color because I ran out of this color and I wanted to save some to sew it up. So I changed to this light gray color, which I think will be fine for the top because it has gray in this color, in the rusty orange color. This yarn is Premier Just Yarn Tweed. There's no real colors, just a number. I bought it in the Dollar Tree. Oh wait, I might have. Let's see. Okay, this one is called Rust Tweed. And this one is called, I guess, I thought it wasn't a color, it's called grayish tweed. I don't know if you can see that. But it's like a gray, light gray color, tweedy color. And I think it looks okay. It's just going to be for the top of the hat. Oh, I dropped some stitches. So, I mean, not a biggie. So I did that. Grab my needle real quick, sorry. And we'll get to the story of these vintage needles in a minute. Then I'm doing it on I'm missing a needle. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Have to find that needle. I done lost another needle somewhere. I'll find it. Then I'm doing it on the rounds. In the round. I'm going to have to find this needle. That's not good if I've lost this one because these are vintage needles. They got to be somewhere. They're somewhere. I'll find it. It's not in here. It probably fell on the couch. Anyway, so I'm doing it in the round and I'm still on the ribbing. And this is Patton's Classic Worsted Wool. I guess maybe. And I'm using my arrows, my vintage arrows, 4mm DPNs. And I need to go find that needle because now this is going to bug me all day until I find it. I know exactly where it's at because where it was sitting. I need a bigger bag. Then I'm working on, make sure I didn't drop it. No, it's not here. Then I'm working on a lightweight sweater for myself. I really need to get needle stoppers. I actually bought some, but I don't think I bought enough. I definitely didn't buy enough. I should buy another one. Anyway, it's Lion brand. It's just a basic top-down yoke. I'm on the body. And I'm using, and I don't even know where my pattern's at. It's right here. You can tell how organized I am. Your Inspirations, sorry. Your Inspirations top-down knit pullover. Let me put that in here. And I'm using my Arrow vintage needles, and these are a 4.5. I believe these are 4.5 because I switched from my, no, these are a 4. I switched from my Chalgo to use my vintage needles because I'm on a vintage needle kick, which you will see in a second. Oh, you will see in a second. Anyway, and this I'm using Drops Bell Unicolor, and it's color number 7. So it's like a gray. I don't know if you can see. It's a gray, and it's got like a purple strand running through it. And it's cotton. It's 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. I don't know how I feel about this one yet. So there's that. Let's put that away. And the last thing I'm working on, no, I'm lying. I have one more thing after this. The next thing I'm working on, I should say, is my son's sweater. And this is I'm going to say it's a vintage pattern now because I got it from the Knitting Archives online. And it's redhook.co.uk. So I'm assuming it's a UK-based pattern from Red Heart. And it's the boat neck stripe pullover for my son. And I'm on the sleeves. And I'm using Arrows Straights number 7. And this is the cuff for the sleeve. The pattern goes cuff up instead of shoulder down because it has to all be sewn together. I'll just show you one of the two. Oh, I'm lying. I forgot that I put it together. All right, let's see. It goes this way. So this is the top. And I feel like it's not going to be big enough for him. But we'll see. And this is the bottom. But it's stretchy, so. If it doesn't fit, I'll take it out and do it again. It's kind of hard when you have flat knitted patterns. Like, are they really going to fit? Is it going to fit? Is it going to fit? That doesn't belong here. And the last thing I'm working on is the Miss Marple scarf, which I don't know where the pattern's at, so I don't know where I'm at in the pattern. I believe I'm just knitting back and forth. The Miss Marple scarf, which has the key thingy in it. And I guess you could say I'm halfway done. It looks like a mermaid's tail to me. I found this yarn down my basement. I don't think I'm going to have enough. I have 2 more little balls of this. I didn't find it down my basement. Obviously, I knew I had it. It was given to me years ago. And I didn't know what to do with it. I'm thinking I might pair it with this Drops Air because it's kind of fluffy like this one, but not the same as the second half of, like, the second part of the tail. And I think that would look pretty cool. So there's that. Let's put this here. All right, let's see. Oh, I'm all tangled. I'm all tangled. Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. I'm all tangled. Okay, hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Because I just kept tossing stuff in this basket. Let's put you here. All right. Sorry about that. Cold coffee. Those are the things I'm working on. Now, on to my surprise, First off, let's talk about my Chadwicks. Years and years and years ago, when I first started knitting, my neighbor who was she crocheted, she did needle cross stitch. She came to me with this velveteen holder. She goes, here, I don't use these. And I opened it up and I go, oh, it's knitting needles. And she goes, yeah, I wanted to learn how to knit. I couldn't do it. I bought this pouch of needles, this lot of needles in a flea market where, I guess, when she used to live in New York. And at that time, I was a beginner knitter. So I didn't really know much about needles, be it vintage needles or anything. But it was a lot. But I wasn't really into smaller circumference, smaller needles. But I kind of was like, well, these look kind of old. They look old. Like there's a few more downstairs, but most of them were very tiny, size 1s or 2s, and very long. And I looked it up, and I'm like, I looked up some of the names, and I'm like, these are old. They don't make these no more. Like, I recognize the brand names because I love vintage things, and so obviously, as a knitter, like, I like to know history of things. So I recognized names. And I told her, I guess I shouldn't have told her, but I told her, you know, they don't make these anymore. You got a really good jackpot. These are vintage things. These are vintage needles. And she was like, oh, do you think they're maybe worth money? You know, you can give them back. Which in my mind was like, okay, are you going to sell them? Maybe try to sell them to an antique dealer or something like that. Because they're not going to be worth anything to anybody unless they're a collector or they knit and would use them. So I remember saying to her, no, I don't think they're worth much because they're not that old. They're only from like the 60s, the 50s, 60s. Like, you know, they're not hundreds of years old. They're not worth hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars or anything. She was like, oh, okay, no biggie. You can keep them, use them, or whatever. So I was like, oh, okay. So I did use these a couple times, and then I kind of put them away. Because for a while, I stopped knitting. And then I'm telling you, Miss Jen from our Saturday night lives, she's the Urban Gypsy Crochet on Facebook. This is your fault. I'm blaming you. I'm putting it on you in a good way. Because she was knitting with these needles, and they look like they might have been older needles. Obviously, she's an, Anyway, so one of the lives we were talking about, she was talking about her wool store she used to have with her parents, or her parents used to have, and she had mentioned Arrow knitting needles, and I'm like, okay. So I looked them up, which is where the circulars came in. I bought, no, the straights, the first pair of straights. No, the circulars. I searched up on Etsy and eBay, and I found these. And I got these in a 4 and a 4.5. 4, 4.5. Like, and I got circulars, and no, I am so lying right now. I got the DPNs. You saw my Miss Marple scarf on first. I was like, I want sock needles, so I bought sock needles. And then I was like, oh my God, these are great. Like, these are awesome. I want another pair. I want more. Because who doesn't? Who doesn't do that? Oh, there go my scissors. Anyway, so who doesn't do that? So I went and got 4.5, 3.25, 2.75, 2.5, 2.0. And I think some of these are like, these look newer, obviously, and I'm going to show you what I mean. These look newer than these. These are obviously older. Some of them say made in Mexico for spin rate yarns. And some of them say made in England by Arrow. So these ones look to be Canadian. And these ones say like Arrow England. And these ones just say distributed by Arrow. So like, not only you're like, oh, well, they're not original Arrows made in England. And really they are, because they don't make the brand no more. The brand is gone. Arrow is no longer a company. So they are vintage. They're just not from one specific place. They're not from, I guess, the origins. Because Arrow made for many people. And then obviously Arrow Burnett was a thing. And then, so I have 4.5. Oh, why? Why do I have multiples of things? This is what happens when you purchase stuff half asleep. Because I believe those are 4s. Then I have 2 4.5s and then I have another 4. So I have 2 of each in straights. But wait, there's more. There's more. I have more circulars. 4.5. These are 80 centimeters. And these are 80 centimeters. And then I have 4.5, 80 centimeters. And these are English size. And these are English. And so these 2 are English from England. And these ones are made from I guess for spin right, because packaging is different. So I guess as time went on, these are probably newer in the sense that they were closer to the time when they were closing. So like production packaging and stuff probably became costly, and they probably, you know, changed packaging to be more cost effective. And then, yeah, so I have my son's thing on the fours. Because, you know, I'm ridiculous. I have more double points. Two and a half, 2.753, 3 point, which I is probably 3 point whatever. 3 point, I don't know, whatever this is. Like 3.14, which is probably 3.25, or definitely not 3 point something. And these are all different. So like specific one, like they're all made in different places. I didn't realize how much I actually bought now. Yeah. And then, because, you know, half asleep, I was on Etsy, and I saw this. You're just gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh at me. You're gonna say, what the heck is wrong with this girl? You're gonna laugh, and you're gonna say, what was she thinking? What is wrong? What is going on? I saw I saw an, I was on eBay, not Etsy, eBay, and I saw a listing, and I saw this. This is not what it is. And I read a description, and the description said, I'm using them. Sorry. I was like, wait, I'm missing something. This needle set has been sitting in my wife's cedar chest for far too long. She's sitting in my 80-year-old, my wife's chest, who is now 80. No, it said, this needle set was my wife's, who is now 80. They have been sitting in her cedar chest for way too long, and it's time for them to go to a new home for someone who will love them and use them and cherish them. And so that alone, like, that was the best sales pitch ever. You can't, I'm not gonna, it's literally a whole set of arrow knitting needles. And the fact that it probably came with other things. I'm using 3 sets right now, or yeah, 3 sets right now. And it came with a Tunisian crochet hook, which was a Susan Bates number 8. And this also looks kind of vintage because this looks different than what they do now, because I've seen Susan Bates. And then I have a boy double pointed needle set, size 1, which I think are 2.5. I think they're 2.5s. Boy, and they're $1. It says $1. And You cannot get knitting needle hooks for $1 anymore. And you can't tell, but they're a little bit bent, so they're well loved. And it says, the Boy Needle Company in Chicago. Perfect points to prevent drop stitches. So I thought that was cool. I wonder how old they are. So we'll leave those there. And I'll put this back. Now when I opened up this case, kind of broke the zipper. Not because I intended to, but because this case is probably so old that the material on the zipper, right there, kind of like is frayed. Like you could see the zippers coming off. So I'm still able to close it. I'm still able to zip it and close it if I could just get it on there. I gotta play with it for a minute though. But I will do that in a minute. But I have more. Now, if you really want to talk about vintage, size 9, 3 millimeters. These are really short, so I'm gonna assume that these were meant for like baby socks. I didn't realize how short they were going to be, so I probably will never use them. But the fact that and these are a size 10, 3.5 millimeters, and these are a size 10. So 9, so 2, 9, 10, 9, 10, and then 10, 11. So these would be, I guess, thumb needles, what they call thumb needles. And I didn't want these to use these because they really are super old. Like, these are really vintage. I wanted these as a collector of, obviously, knitting paraphernalia now, I guess. I'm going to put them in my case, back in my case with my other ones. And then I have these. And these are from Canada. These are called fingertip. And there are only 2 in here. And these are doesn't even tell me what size they are. But they're from Aviation Products Co., Montreal, Canada. So these are another ones that I won't use. I will not use these because these are truly vintage and I would like to keep them in good shape. Like truly, truly old vintage. Like these are probably like, I don't know, maybe 40s? I don't know. I mean, my other ones, these ones are obviously vintage also. My set. But they're vintage to the fact that I can still use them and love them. And not damage them in any way whatsoever. But wait, that's not all. Oh, no. That's not all. That's not all. Yes, because I'm crazy. I'm just trying to get this closed back up so I can put it in the basket that I have all these lovely needles in. Bear with me 1 second. Come on, I know you'll go. It's gonna fight with me now. Come on, I know you'll go in. There you go. I think. Nope. Seriously? You're gonna play games with me now? Am I talking to a needle case? Yeah, I think I am. Come on, I know you'll go on there. I'll play with it in a minute. I'll just put it there. Okay, so then I was on Etsy. Before I go, I was researching vintage, like I have like people knitting in America, like I have books. I have a history book of knitting in America and stuff. And I was just doing research. Like I was researching the different brands of knitting needles and knitting and yarn companies, and you know, how one started, another started, this one started, and then they kind of merged and this became this and whatever. And I saw these Millward circular knitting needles in 40 centimeters. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, I need small knitting needles so that I can do sweaters. Mind you, I have a whole nice brand new set of Chalgu circulars. Interchangeable circulars that I bought last summer for my sweater knitting. But, excuse me, for some reason, I feel like if I knit on vintage needles or needles that are no longer or pre-loved, my knitting seems to be more consistent, I guess you could say. Like my stitches are better for some reason. I've noticed that, and I don't know if it's a psychological thing. It probably is, and I'm crazy. But there's those. And Millwards were from these are in England too. Made in England. I've looked up the company, and there's still a company around with this name for like sewing notions and sewing things, but I don't know if it's the same company or if they've kind of, because I didn't see knitting needles and things like that, so like I don't know if it's still the same company and maybe they shied away from the knitting crocheting compartment, or I just didn't look deep enough into the website. But wait, there's more. I'm actually using one of these. I bought 4 and 4.5 of these straights. I have a thing, I guess, for 4 and 4.5 because most sweater patterns call for them. But if I need anything bigger or smaller, obviously I have my set. I'm using the 4.5s. No. Yes. No. I have not 4.5s. I have 4s and I have 6s. 6 millimeter. And I'm using the 6 millimeter for my muttered square blanket. I switched because I'm almost at the end anyway. So I switched from my circulars that I was using to those. But wait, there's more. In one of I need to shut my phone down when I go to sleep because the other night while I was in I cannot fall asleep, let's browse eBay, I found this brand Millard like this. It's missing, I think, 5 millimeter because I didn't realize it because I did like and the sellers in Canada, and she wanted like $25 Canadian, which is fine because it's actually less. The conversion is less, but I did an offer of 15 because it was missing some components, like size wise, like needles, like it's not a complete set, and she counter offered me 20 with a 20 and a lower shipping rate, so I took it. So I've bought for 25, I think it was like $25 total with the conversion and tax, a set of the Millward straight vintage knitting needle set. I think I have a problem. Shh, don't tell my husband. But again, and he's like, what is going on? Why are you getting all these packages? And I said, oh, this is stuff I ordered way before Christmas. Like at the end of December when I got my bonus from work, I was, you know, they're vintage, they're, you know, might be worth money one day. You know, when I die, your kids might be able to sell them off, and they might get something for them, you know, maybe not a lot, but something, because my children don't knit. Maybe one day they'll pick it up, but for now they don't. All right, so that's with everything with the needles. I have no more vintage needles to show you. Everything is there. But I do have something else to show you. I was in Goodwill. Actually, this is not all of it, but I'm going to show you some of it because just because I'm going to show you some of it. That actually is not going to go, so I'm going to put that back. Anyway, so I was in Goodwill and I was looking for one thing. Couldn't find what I actually was looking for. I found the basket, which is what everything is in now. It's like a wicker type basket. And I walked by the craft where they keep the yarn and stuff, and I found 2 bags, $9.99 each, of mostly hand dyed yarn. This is just 2 of the hand dyed that I found. And then there was some Sheppies in there. There was some Arnie and Carlos in there. I'll show you as I use it up. But I was thinking short sleeve sweater. This is the main color, and then maybe this is like the ribbing for accent. And then I was thinking maybe that would go because that kind of looks nice. And this is my Blue Face Leicester. This is, I think this is fingering and this is DK, but this is a thin DK. So I was thinking possibly a sweater. I don't know. Can you see the, I think these, I think this would go better, but I think this would be a good, like, accent color maybe to it, possibly, because this one seems a little bit lighter. I think they're the same. They look similar. There was no tags on them. There was no nothing. It was just, it was like this. So, I mean, it'll work. It's got similar browns in it. And then it's got the similar light browns here. So I was thinking that. So I put that in with all my vintage needles that I probably didn't need. For inspiration. And I was printing out some vintage sweater patterns. Let me put those back in there. I'm gonna put this back in there too. Oh, I'm caught. No. Put some vintage, you know. Ooh, I keep dropping stuff. Oh yeah, I keep dropping stuff today. All right, come on, get it together. So yeah, that has been everything that I've been collecting. I've become well, I'm not going to buy no more. I've decided that's it. I'm done. We can't do no more of this. That's it. No more. So yeah, I haven't been reading anything. I have not. I haven't been reading because I've been working on all these lovely knitting projects that I got inspired to do by these beautiful needles that I have now collected. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. I don't want to make the video too long. I hope you enjoyed seeing all my newly acquired needles. And I will see you guys later. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. have I lost my mind in collecting all these needles? Or is this something normal that us knitters do? Like, I've never, I mean, like, yeah, I know I've seen people collect, you know, we all have 1,000,001 needles. Because I realized, excuse me, I have 1,000,001 crochet hooks too when I was organizing my little corner. But I also have my mom's hooks that she used to use, but they're mostly like for like doilies and fine tooth stuff, which I'll never use. And they're vintage because they're from like the 80s. And they're steel hook, you know, they're steel hook crochets. I do have a few that I use that were normal boy knitting needles. There's a Hero needle I think I own of hers, which I know they don't make Hero no more, so that's vintage. And I'm thinking I may put her little box in this basket too and keep all my important, I don't want to say important, what's the word I'm looking for? I could say vintage, but I've said vintage how many times now? My collectibles. We'll go with collectibles. My collectible needles. My collection. We'll go with my collection in the basket. And that's just going to be for that and anything that my next project that, like, I didn't buy all the needles to use all the needles, obviously. It's inspiration. I'm using it for inspiration because I know that most of these, except for my needle, my set that I bought from the sweet old lady, because I even messaged the seller and I'm like, thank you for, you know, I'm glad that I came across your listing when I did. I'm inspired and honored to be able to use your wife's knitting needles. You know, please let her know they will be loved and put to use to create some wonderful things. So he wrote me back and he said, I told her that they, you know, obviously she knew they were purchased. I told her what you said and she told me to tell you to please enjoy and to create lots of magical garments and things with them. So I guess, and then it made her happy to know that they actually went to somebody that was going to use them. So I guess, like, that makes me happy in a weird way. Like, is that weird? It makes me happy because, like, my grandma's not around. And my mom, obviously, you guys know, is not around. I don't have anybody that I can, like, immediate family or friends that I can go to for inspiration or, like, hey, you know, questions. And I'm a weird nerd like that where I like the history of things. So, like, I'm sitting there using them to knit my son's sweater and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I wonder what she used these, made with these. Like, I wonder if she has grandchildren or children she knitted things for, or did she knit for charity, or, you know, did she own a business and make things for her store? Like, I'm weird. I'm really weird. Oh my God, I'm so weird. Anyway, so, like, but it kind of, like, makes me happy to know that, like, this item was loved. And now I'm continuing on with that. Like, the use, what they were the intended use for the needles are continuing. Like, they're not just sitting somewhere. Like, somebody didn't just buy them to just have them sit somewhere. Or, you know, they're not just, like, collecting dust in somebody's attic. Like, I get to use this thing that somebody else used and probably made some really great things. And if she's 80, that means, if she isn't in her 80s, that means that she was around in the 50s. Well, my mom was born in 1940 and she was 80? 79. She was 79. So she's 80. So she was like in her teens and 20s in the 50s and 60s. So those needles are probably from the 50s and 60s. Maybe later. Possibly 70s, maybe the 80s, who knows. But I'm sure they've lived a long, lovely life when she used them. Anyway, so yes, I've been going on for way too long, gushing about these wonderful needles I bought. So I'm sorry, guys. Like, it just, like, my husband doesn't get it. He understands that, you know, they're vintage, they don't make them no more, that, you know, they're a better brand of, not a better brand, I'm not going to say better. They're a brand that was widely used and whatever, and popular, and they're well made and everything, and really that's the point of why I got them, is because they're well made and they've lasted that long, for however long, and they're in brand new condition, and he understands that I would rather spend X amount of money on quality items than have to keep replacing things. So like he doesn't really mind. Like, he may be like, yo, slow your roll, but he won't tell me, no, you can't buy something, because I'm buying it with my own money. I'm not asking him to buy it or whatever. Whole nother story. I just went off on a whole nother tangent. Anyway, yeah, so, I mean, that's not, yeah, so, like, he gets it, but I can't gush about it to him, because he'll look at me and be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I have no clue. So, there's that. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. This video is way long, more, like, longer than normal. So, I will love you. I will leave you. I will say I will see you next time. My next video will probably be of all my lovely finished objects that I have made. And anything that has come in, which I need to stop buying at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm half asleep. That's not good. I've put myself on a buying ban for right now. I'm not buying nothing. No yarn, obviously no needles, because I don't need them. Nothing. I'm just going to use what I have. Use what you have. Use what you have. That's my message for the year. Use what you have. So that's it for now. I'll talk to you guys later. I hope you have a good rest of your week. And I will see you soon. Bye.